YouTube, what's going on? My name is Denanu, and it's been a long minute since I uploaded a video. And not for no particular reason, just with all of this coronavirus craziness, there hasn't really been any new movies to check out. I think the last movie I saw was Bloodshot that we did a video on. So, since I didn't have anything to talk about, I tried to watch some animes that I've been meaning to watch over the past few years, and we're going to be talking about some other movies and stuff that that normally I probably wouldn't talk about, but since there's nothing else going on really besides the virus stuff, we're going to talk about a couple movies that I recently seen too, and probably even some Netflix stuff. I just got finished watching Sonic the Hedgehog and the Chris Hemsworth movie Extraction from Netflix. So we're going to be talking about both of those in a little bit, but with this one here, we're going to be talking about Sonic. And this was a movie that I had zero hope for. I'm an old school video game fan, so I played all the games when they came out years ago, and this was a movie that when I heard it, I was like, okay, this just feels old, because this feels like something that they should have did like 15 years ago. And when they came out with the trailers and everything, and they showed the way he looks, and I seen Jim Carrey being his wacky self, I was like, what the hell is this garbage? You know, that was my first thought. So then I was just like, it's whatever, it's probably gonna suck. Didn't pay it no mind. Then when it came out, everybody was saying, oh, you know, the movie's okay. It's not the greatest movie out there. It's not the worst movie out there. It's okay. And I just seen it probably about a week and a half ago. So I didn't just get finished watching it. But yeah, it's exactly like people were saying. It's okay. It's a kid's movie, you know? It's a kid's movie. The story didn't get too stupid, you know. I don't have kids myself. I'm a grown man. I'm like 36 years old, so I don't have any kids. I'm not planning to see this with kids, so I'm not coming in it from that frame of mind. But if I did, this would be a decent kids movie. To me, the story is kind of bland. You know, it's really one of those road trip setup type movies that brings two people close together. You know, that same trope that they have in those kind of movies. And for what it does, it's not bad, honestly. It's a kids movie, so you got to get past that. Sonic is a very hyperactive, like 7 or 8 year old, you know, so he's always talking, always getting into trouble and, you know, getting into shit. But outside of that, it's a decent movie. I mean, if I had to pick one qualm or one con or one negative thing to say about the movie, I wasn't too happy with Jim Carrey's super eccentricness when it comes to some of the jokes in the movie. Outside of that, if they were to take him down from, let's say, from a 10 to an 8, you know, I think this movie would have been, I think he would have been better. I think it would have been even more decent and better for it. But they have a couple jokes in here, like he just doesn't act like a grown man, you know, like, there was one scene, I think they had it in the trailer, where he takes Sonic's quill that he has that's charged up with his super speed energy, and he puts it in his mouth and tastes it, and it shocks him. And then, like, right after he does that, he tries to gives it to his, like, number 2, you know, and it's like, come on, man, what grown man would do that? It kind of reminded me of the Jolly Rancher scene from Batman and Superman. But outside of Jim Carrey bumping it up to 11, he was damn good. You know, outside one or two things that he did, I was like, okay, I could see what, you know, he's trying to do with the character. He's trying to make his character his own and just kind of put his own little spin on it. Now, That I didn't have any problem with. My problem is like, oh, why can't he look like the person from the game? And they even did that towards the end of the movie, so I can't knock him too bad. This movie feels like, or rather not feels like, it is, if you wanted to take the game's storyline and let's say this is a prequel to that. So he starts out on Earth, in this movie, hunting down Sonic, trying to dissect him, figure out how all of his powers and stuff works. And then at the end of the movie, he ends up on a different planet. His the mustache that he had is all grew out and stuff, and he looks like a skinnier version of the Dr. Robotnik character that's from the games. So it's understandable why he is the way he is. It makes sense, in that kind of a transition, if you think about it like that. In the beginning of the movie, you had a whole other, I thought it was going to be another dimension that, let's say, Sonic was from, but they just straight up said, like, no, he's an alien from another planet that gets, I don't know if it's magically teleported or what have you, or advanced technology, but basically the rings that he has on his planet basically let him go from world to world. And I'm guessing they got that from the video game. At the end of every level or world, he jumps into a ring, and then that starts the next stage. So I'm guessing that's where they stole that idea from. So you had a whole lot of homages and throwbacks to the video games in this, down to like certain soundtrack choices. Hell, the first the first 2 minutes of the movie is like the first stage, is Green Hills, essentially, from the games. The town that he's in once he gets to Earth is called Green Hills or Green Hill, something like that. And Dr. Robotnik, all his stuff, gets basically defeated by Sonic by him curling up into a ball and hitting it. So I thought that was pretty cool. They even had a joke in there where I forget what the guy's name is, but I know him as Cyclops from the X-Men movies. Sonic makes a joke to him saying like, oh, if you're trying to attack it, just curl your body and, curl your body into a ball and then hit him. And I thought that was hilarious. But outside of, let's say, this being a video game movie, because this is one of those where it's like, okay, I'm expecting the movie to be ass. But like I said, it wasn't. It was a road trip movie with Sonic and Cyclops. And it was okay. He wanted to leave town. He wanted a more exciting life. And Sonic wanted to stay in this town because he grew up in this town. Like when he left his alien planet, he landed here, let's say he was 5. So he's been living in this town unbeknownst to them for like, let's say like 6 to 8 years. So now he's a preteen and stuff like that. And he values all of these characters since he doesn't have any friends. So he treats the townspeople as they were his friends. And, even though they don't know he exists and stuff like that, it introduces like an antisocial vibe with Sonic to get you to like and understand his character. And with Cyclops' character, it brings him back home in a way, because running away from Dr. Robotnik and trying to help Sonic and doing all of this stuff with aliens and the rings and all that, it kind of, he realizes that he doesn't have to leave the town at the end of the movie and then chooses to stay. I thought that was pretty cool. So as a movie, it has like a beginning, middle, and an end. It arcs, and it arcs back to them going back to the town at the end, and Dr. Robotnik's on this other alien planet that he's stuck on. So they can easily take this movie into a sequel if they wanted to. Bring back Dr. Robotnik, have him be the Dr. Robotnik from the games, a little bit more. You can even say that Sonic had this friend named Tails that was on his planet that he used to hang with. And now Tails has been trying to find him this whole time that he's been gone, bring in Tails or some of the other, people from the Sonic video games like Knuckles and stuff like that. They can go anywhere they want, essentially, with the sequel. I'm not sure if they're gonna make a sequel. I mean, I heard the movie made decent money. I haven't checked any stats, or I haven't hit up Box Office Mojo or anything like that, but I remember when it came out, everybody was saying decent things, and I don't think this movie flopped by any means. So I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna make a sequel to it, because kids movies, they just tend to greenlight because, and Sonic seemed like a good enough movie to do that with. The only thing that they need is just to make, more jokes and, get more up-to-date memes this time. But besides that, the movie was okay. From my perspective, being an old school fan of the video games, it's one of those things where I couldn't have imagined it done better, to be honest. Because if you try to make it just like the video games, it's gonna, unless you make it a full-on animated type experience where you're just jumping into the video games lore. Let's say if they made it like Sonic and the Freedom Fighters cartoon, I think something like that could work out. But outside of that, you can't really make a live action Sonic movie decent, except in the way that they did it. You kind of have to do it on that route. And so it's like, I can understand why they changed a lot and why they tried to make Dr. Robotnik the way he is and stuff like that. So it just makes sense, because like I said, this is like the setup for what they're gonna give you later, or at least that's the kind of vibe I was getting out of it. I'm hoping they make a sequel, just because I want to see Tails, I want to see Knuckles, I want to see some of the other characters that's in the video games. And I'm hoping they bring back Cyclops. I don't see why they wouldn't. They usually always need a human character to kind of ground things out. So like if anything, have him go to their planet and get caught up in some shenanigans and all of that stuff. They could do that and try to make things into a viable sequel while bringing back Jim Carrey and Dr. Robotnik. The only thing I'm worried about with that is, I know Jim Carrey's like old. He's not he's not as young as back as he was when he was doing In Living Color. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if they don't make a sequel in, let's say, like 5 to 10 years, I'm guessing he may be a little bit too old. I don't know if he has anything physically, meaning like cancer and stuff like that. But a lot of times, older actors, they have stuff and ailments and stuff like that, sicknesses just like anybody else. So if he's 50, 60 something years old, he doesn't have a whole lot of time to make a sequel and make it be viable. He's not Samuel L. Jackson, pushing like 70, 80 something years old, still doing movies. So it all depends on how he's feeling at the time. So I don't want to see him set up as Dr. Robotnik if he's not going to be there for the sequels and stuff like that. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, guys, it was a decent movie. I would say check it out. If you got kids, have them watch it with you. I'm pretty sure they'll be entertained. But anyways, fellas, that's just my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog. And if you guys have anything to say, let me know down in the comments below. And my name is Denanu, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.